Well, welcome to the party, brother. Welcome. Good to see you, man. Um, got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, dude. How you doing, Jonathan? You doing okay? Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Does the mic sound better than it has? I have had a couple of people tell me that it's sounding bad. Um, I was using this mic in here, and apparently it wasn't going very well. Does it sound better using this mic? It had been broken for a while, but I think I fixed it. Does this sound better? Cool. Okay. All right. Well, good deal. I'm sure I'll have more come later. I don't think anyone else is streaming tonight, but there's just a bunch of weird stuff going on, and I want to talk about it. Thank you, Owen. Fact check. Good to see you. So I want to start. Do you guys remember several months ago there were the Maui fires, and the circumstances were really, really weird? Do you guys remember that? It wasn't very long ago. We were praying for Pastor JD and all that kind of stuff. Do you guys remember those fires? Like a bunch of people went missing. It was without warning. It was the most intense fires in history for them. Do you guys remember all that? Because I want to bring something up tonight, but I don't want to sound like a crazy person. Everything blue is untouched. I'm going to talk about that. Hey, guys, real quick, 1 second. I have a water cooler right here. I'm going to refill this water bottle before we get too many people. Give me 1 second. I know it's unprofessional of me. I'm sorry, but I don't have this water. I'll die halfway through. And I thought I had more water than I did. Okay. That'll be better. All right. Okay, so the reason I bring up those fires is because I don't know if you guys have seen it, because they're not really talking a lot about it in mainstream media. But you guys know that Chile is actively going through the worst wildfire season of their life, and it's exactly the same scenario. Fact check: if the dog comes in a minute, I will absolutely post him up in the camera. Otherwise, I will put if he doesn't come in, then I will put pictures up in the community page. We actually had to get him a sister, so there are now 2 dogs. One is a real sweet Pyrenees Mastiff puppy. She's the new one. She is about to be 4 months old, I think, and she's doing awesome. She's already we got her crate trained, we got her potty trained. She's doing great. And then Beaker is being his beautiful self. Ben, great to see you, my man. Okay, so if I may, I want to kind of lay out what we knew about the Maui fires. And I want to lay out what we know about the Chile fires, and I want to point out the similarities and how shocking they are, if I may. So, if you guys remember in Maui, it was all of a sudden very high winds, out of nowhere, fires everywhere, raging. Everything that was blue, untouched. So you've got people that are on the record of saying things like blue cars, untouched, blue warehouses, blue houses, untouched. So we go over to Chile. It's the exact same scenario. No warning, from no wind to all of the wind, and everything on fire all at once. So the thumbnail, guys, is actually a live picture from Chile, from the fires. Blue stuff untouched, whole 9 yards. And I think that I have an idea of what's happening, and I am wondering if perhaps this will get me put in YouTube jail. But if you guys have heard of high power energy weapons, it's basically like a laser, like you would have like a metal engraving laser, or like when you would see like kids that would use magnifying glasses with ants and use the sunlight. It's kind of the same thing. But long story short, my understanding is that those types of lasers have a hard time with blue material, from my research that I've spent the last couple of days researching. So I'm not going out of my, just for the record, for the YouTube police and for everyone involved, I'm not saying, hey, by the way, it's a conspiracy, this kind of thing. I am saying, though, it's a little weird and a little suspicious that this has happened twice now in the span of several months, and both circumstances were borderline identical. That's a little too weird for me to leave untouched, personally. I don't know what everyone else's thoughts are on it, but there are so many things that are happening, family, that are just unexplainable. That doesn't happen. That's not a normal thing. And there are people who will try to say, oh, well, it's, Santa Ana winds. That's not how that works. And what's weird is that when you press people on it, they get really weird about it. And I want to, if I may, also point out that part of the situation in Maui was that all of a sudden companies like BlackRock were trying to sweep in there and buy all this land that was burnt down from these people because they had nothing. So it's weird because you're wondering if this is going to happen again in Chile, where people are losing everything. All of a sudden, they're like, hey, well, let's just buy it up from you. You've got nothing anyway. If I may direct you to the WEF website, I want to read a couple of things off their website. This will sound familiar because there was a video from the WEF, and I'm going to go ahead and share it in Telegram. Bubba News has several things that we're going to look at tonight. If you guys don't follow Bubba News, follow Bubba News. Dude's awesome. So part of the highlights in this video were the USA won't be a leading superpower. A handful of countries will dominate. Maybe 10. You'll eat much less meat, an occasional treat, not a staple. We'll have to do a better job at welcoming and integrating refugees. I am enjoying the wilderness. Thank you. Western values will have been tested to the breaking point. You'll own nothing and be happy. So what's crazy, you know what, Sandra? My wife and I are looking into homesteading soon, hopefully, being able to buy some land and start our own kind of thing. We totally talked about that earlier. I don't know if that does anything, but it is weird coincidence, if you believe in coincidences, that all of this stuff is not touching blue houses. So what's crazy is this is all from a video, and part of it is also, whatever you want, you'll rent it and it'll be delivered by drone. And they're saying this is by 2030. And basically what it frameworks, guys, is, and it's outlining, is that it's trying to ensure that all people have access to things, but they don't own those things. Sound familiar? You'll own nothing and be happy. And the thing about it is this video came out a little while ago, and it's for Agenda 2030. And yet it is only 2024, and we're watching all of this happen rapidly in real time. One of the ones that is concerning, and Ben, you make a fantastic point there. Western values will have been tested to the breaking point. The USA won't be a leading superpower, or the leading superpower, in fact. I didn't realize my dog is actually in here on the floor. He's just very quiet, but we'll see him in a minute. You guys kind of picking up what I'm throwing down here? You guys noticing that it almost seems like a calculated destruction of the system we have in place that puts citizens who are willing to work ahead, and now we're kind of seeing that doesn't really, it feels like the harder you work, the more they take, or the more bad things happen. I think that's intentional. 2 Timothy 3:1 says this, but realize this, that in the last days perilous times will come. Perilous is defined as dangerous, difficult, stressful, or painful. It's getting pretty gnarly out here. The thing that's crazy, and I'll talk about that as well, Owen, because there's just so many things, and you guys are getting ahead of me, and I love that because you guys are well informed. If you guys didn't know, yeah, Lord, I agree with you. If you guys didn't know, the number of Chinese nationals coming across our borders illegally are something like 4,000% up. These are military-age Chinese men. There are a couple of things that I'm going to connect here for you real quick with that. The Chinese are publishing more and more content about kids from an early age being trained with military weaponry in military situations. There's a video of school-age kids in China that are in like a shopping mall that's been repurposed as like a war zone. They're training these soldiers up from children. There's another video, guys, where basically, and the Chinese government has done two things. They've uploaded videos of these guys following an exact system to get in across the border, to be arrested and then released later. The Chinese nationalist, their communist party, they've been giving literal directions for how to do this. And yeah, exactly. When Xi Jinping came, it was for California and not DC, because California is the number one weak spot in the border. And I would hesitate to even say weak spot because it feels like it's non-existent, where Border Patrol agents are unable to do their job. It's a calculated destruction. If you guys didn't see, there was a special report that claimed that Biden was a well-meaning old man who couldn't remember much. Now you've got Kamala Harris saying she's ready to step up and be president for this last however many months, if we're still here that long. We're watching the fact that now they're going to have to push a different, more radical candidate, I would assume. Michelle Obama and Gavin Newsom might be a good guess. The two most radically anti-America, pro-legal immigration, pro the destruction of America people that you could have run for office. I want us to remember a couple of things as well, just in terms of America. We've got the threat of the border. We've got the threat of this this divide in our country, where you've got basically terrorists and people who are, I say terrorists, people who are actively plotting the destruction of our country through sending billions of dollars overseas, or, think about the fact, guys, that Biden has done more for Ukraine in one term than he's done America in 50 years. That's intentional. They've got stuff in Ukraine they want to protect, and so they'll keep pumping billions of dollars in there. Think about the fact, guys, that, in America as well right now, we've got the risk of President Biden pressuring Netanyahu into a ceasefire deal with Gaza. That can only end poorly. In fact, there's a great study on the fact that every single time an American president tries to either force Israel into a bad situation or force them to give up land, there's a natural disaster shortly after. It's crazy. And the thing that's really, really important for us to understand is that when we look at all this stuff, it is overwhelming for sure. There's so much happening. And we're going to talk way more than just this. So don't think that I'm like, I'm out of here, but we're going to talk about more stuff. But share Jesus, man. That is the most important thing you can do right now. Share Jesus and be prepared and be vigilant. Okay, be as gentle as a dove and be as wise as a serpent. Because these times are getting perilous out here. And, I still believe the rapture is incredibly soon. I also am of the mind that things could go hot very quickly. So we could have this duality of the rapture soon and things getting crazy very quickly. I am not someone who is going to say that we are going to escape hard times, before the rapture. I don't necessarily believe that's true. In fact, it looks like, things are going to get to the point where they are so crazy that God will have no choice but to pull his people out, because it's a tinderbox about to blow. So you've got Biden pushing for a ceasefire with Hamas, which, again, only bad things happen when U.S. presidents do that. You would think they would quit it. From Israel Radar on X, you've got Hamas chief Sinwar is suffering from complications of pneumonia. Arab officials say after speaking with Hamas leaders, no confirmation from other sources. Gaza terror group is reportedly in bad shape, running out of ammo as its brigades fall apart. Do we think it's coincidental that as Hamas is falling apart, all of a sudden now there's a call for a ceasefire? No, but we know that Netanyahu's plan from the beginning was to wipe out Hamas. He's doing a pretty effective job of that. So we don't know if, he's going to surrender to try to save his skin, or what the deal is. But you guys know that Israel officially announced they're going to go into Rafah. They're going to try to save those hostages that are being held up over there. Yeah, Jennifer, it's crazy how many people have similar experiences with that. Here's something else, guys. Be on the lookout for terminology like holy war, religious war from the Muslims, from the Arab world. The Palestinian Authority is limiting Arabs at the Temple Mount on Ramadan. That is tantamount to holy war. That is absolutely a provocation. That is absolutely a signal that they are going to try to raise hell, that they're going to try to cause havoc. Every Ramadan has been getting worse, but this is getting pretty crazy. So keep an eye out for that. The Palestinian Authority's Foreign Affairs Departments called the limitations of Arabs allowed on the Temple Mount during Ramadan, leading toward a declaration of a religious war, which will strengthen the fires of hatred in the area and escalate friction. So again, Israel's terrorist neighbors cause a ruckus, and they're being called, Israel's called genocidal for defending themselves. The age groups of Palestinians from Judea and Samaria, it's the West Bank that might be allowed to go. This is a tentative thing. They're without restriction for anyone under age 10 or over 60 years old. So here's something. Here's something. You guys notice that 11 years old to 59 years old, that's their war age men. Okay. This is absolutely them saying, hey, we're going to start something. It would be about 500 people per day for Ramadan, which is a sharp deduction. It's about 0.05% of its normal visitors to the Temple Mount during Ramadan. Last year, over 280,000 Muslims entered the Temple Mount for prayer during the Night of Destiny. And now 500. Do we think that that's a coincidence? I have been saying for how many months has it been? 7 months, I guess it's been. Yeah, 7 about on this channel, that when things go hot, they're going to go hot. We have a very explosive situation coming and not very much time. What's interesting, family, is we've also got this eclipse. And our brother over at Bubba News made a really, really nice post, and I'd love just to share it with you. I'm going to go ahead and read it because I think that I've been looking around and researching a way to put to words all of the exciting things that are with this eclipse, and I want to share it with you because this is too much to be coincidence. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. It is a little lengthy. And this is his most recent post from 8:30 p.m. tonight. And I saw this, and it was a total God thing that it was before I went live, because I had been looking for a way to compile all of this stuff. And then God just dropped this in my lap, and I'm so grateful for it. And if you guys don't follow Bubba News, there's the link for Telegram. So it's important to know too that when Jesus says, behold, I'm coming quickly, people think, okay, quickly means soon. No. Listen, family. In the Greek, that word quickly means kind of sporadically or spontaneously all at once. Okay, so it means that when things go hot, they're going to go hot quickly. Okay, just so we're aware. So Owen and Ben, I absolutely agree with you. So the April 8th eclipse is not just a normal solar eclipse. This thing continues to have more and more deeper meaning this year versus any other year. There's a lot of math in it times, and times at the bottom, so reader beware. And this is from Bubba News. I'm just reading this post that he did, and I think it was just great. Okay. There's something in this I have to believe. Even the overlap in the eclipse across the USA and the super new moon being seen, not seen in Israel at the same time has to have some deeper meaning. When we look at Genesis, God says that, look, I'm giving them the sun, the moon, and the stars for times and seasons. God absolutely will use these signs in the heavens. Jesus himself said there would be signs in the heavens. That word heavens, family, is actually, solar system, the stars, the moon, the sun, eclipses, and star patterns. We had the Revelation 12 signs 7 years ago. And now this 7 years later. It's interesting. Prophetically, it looks like the day of judgment is coming. The Aleph Tav symbol across America could be America's final warning. If God doesn't judge America soon, he'd have to apologize to Sodom and Gomorrah. That is a quote from Billy Graham's wife. And he's right. When you guys look historically at Sodom and Gomorrah, there were a couple of things against them. Obviously, sexual immorality, obviously sexual perversion. There are writings in history, guys, that when in Sodom and Gomorrah, they would have visitors come in, they would have local beds in the square for travelers, and they would go and violate people, tie them to beds. I mean, they did awful things, is my point. That's America times 10, because now there's pedophilia, there's abortion, there's all kinds of evil, wickedness in every way. There's the mutilation of children, and trying to glue the pieces back together. And we're told to be okay with that. It's shocking to say the least. Okay. So yeah, absolutely. God is going to judge America very soon. So this will be the first solar eclipse visible in the continental U.S. since August 21st, 2017, and the only total solar eclipse in the 21st century where the totality will be visible across all of North America. Significant, especially guys, when we think about the fact that this is all happening at once. And I'll get to red heifers too, because this is another thing, guys. There are so many things that's going to happen in this week. It'll be the last total solar eclipse visible in the contiguous United States for the next 2 decades. Hey, Jess, it's great to see you. Until August 23rd, 2044. Do we think we're going to be here that long in this state? Absolutely not. I believe it'll be several years in the millennium by then, personally, my personal opinion. A solar eclipse took place in 1948, the year Israel became a nation, and again in 1967 when Israel emerged victorious in the Six-Day War and unified Jerusalem. The upcoming solar eclipse will take place on Rosh Chodesh, Nisan, which is the new moon, marking the beginning of the month, which is referred to as in the Bible as the first month. Nisan 1 is the very beginning of the religious calendar for Israel. It would be a great day for a false Messiah to show up, wouldn't it? Rosh Chodesh Nisan for Hebrew year 5784 begins at sundown on Monday, April 8th, and ends at nightfall on Tuesday, April 9th. Ramadan ends on April 8th at sundown as well. Sundown in Jerusalem is at 7:20 p.m. on April 8th or 12:20 p.m. EST. The super new moon in Jerusalem will be at 9:20 p.m. on April 8th or 2:20 p.m. EST. The total solar eclipse will be between, and this is for Indiana, guys, this is EST, 1:50 to 4:23, with a max at 3:07 p.m. with a 1.019 magnitude, totally dark. The animals will go crazy, no doubt. There is something with the correlation with Israel's New Year beginning during the time the sun is being blocked across America. And that gives me chills. Chills, literal chills. Guys, I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat, but I am someone who knows the Bible pretty well. And when I see all these signs beginning to happen, I'm told to look up. We've been looking up for a while, and I think that this year is going to be very interesting. Or this year is going to be the year that we get raptured and see Jesus face to face. I know I've been saying that since the channel started. And like Tom, I'll keep saying it until we see him. But family, how can we look at this and at least not look into it? I don't know that we can. Did you guys also know that there are, out of the 5 red heifers, there are 4 still available for sacrifice, and they'll be sacrificed on Passover at the start of the religious year for the Jews. I mean, family. Do we not understand the significance of what's going on? The convergence of prophetic signs and the need to share Jesus with everybody. Oh. The Temple Mount is about to explode. For a while, I thought Psalm 83 might already happen, but now as I look at everything going on, I'm thinking maybe it's still future. So you've got that could explode soon on multiple fronts with Hamas and Hezbollah and Syria and all this. You've got during Passover this year in April, they're going to sacrifice the red heifer. I'm personally going to predict that the Alaska Mox is not going to be there for very much longer. And I believe that we're about to see the third temple be built. And I personally think we'll see it with opera glasses from heaven, but we will see. And In the US, the stock market is looking a lot like it did before the dot-com and '08 crashes. China, Russia, and I believe it was China and Saudi Arabia have decided they're going to ditch the US dollar permanently. The US will no longer be a leading superpower. Syria is saying that it is ready for war with Israel. Isaiah 17 speaks about the destruction of Damascus. Israel let Hezbollah know if they enter the war formally, Damascus will be leveled. That is happening soon. Hezbollah rejected the Israeli peace truce that they submitted from America. I mean, family, I am not advocating for anything bad to happen, but I am simply saying, based on what we see in Scripture, guys, it is going to happen. And I don't know how much longer we have left. And so, again, I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm not trying to do anything other than show you what's happening, look at the word, and prepare. I have a feeling I'm about to meet those 2 kids who went on before us very soon. If you guys didn't know, my wife and I, we had 2 miscarriages before we had our first daughter. And I can tell you what, I think we're going to see them really soon. I really do. You've got Hezbollah saying that everyone in Israel is under the group's missile range. So again, more threats, more rhetoric, more buildup with the Ramadan curves, with everything else going on. And let me tell you something, guys. All this does is excite me because the restrainer is about to be removed and we are about to go home. Hamas came out a couple weeks ago and said that they started this attack so that Israel could not sacrifice the heifers. If you guys didn't know that. Oh, boy. So what do we do? What do we do? Do we cower? Do we, I had someone make a comment about, you got a lot of these people saying, you've got to go get off grid of this. Listen, my wife and I would like to do that. We'll see how it works. We might not have time before he gets here. It'd be nice to get out of an apartment, but what are you going to do? Right? So we'd like to get land and we'd like to build a little cabin and kind of tough it out there. But again, looking at this stuff, I don't know that we'll have time. And that's a good thing. It's a good problem to have. So listen, there are a lot of people who are so scared. And like Jess just said, the Lord takes care of his kids. He provides for us abundantly. Okay? Abundantly. It's going to work out. So do me a favor, okay? Stick into this. Don't listen to the sensationalists. Don't listen to people who are trying to mislead you. Get in the word. Read it. See what a loving Father we have and see about the pre-tribulation rapture and the hope that we have. Right? Share the gospel, man. Time is short and he is coming. And I can't wait. I know you can't either because that's why we're hanging out tonight. Okay? So we're at the finish line. Keep sharing. Keep pushing. Okay? He's coming soon. You know the Lord Jesus and he's your personal Lord and Savior. You got nothing to fear. If you don't, it's time to get to know him. Guys, do me a favor. When the video is done posting, we've been praying for people in the comment section. Okay? So not right now in the chat because some people don't see the messages in the chat for some reason. But after it posts, go back to the channel in a couple minutes and it'll refresh. Put the names of your loved ones, whether it's a spouse or children or someone that you're mentoring, coworker, whoever it is. All right. Please put their names in there so we can pray for them. Okay. If you guys see names in there, don't just leave yours and go away. Please pray for people. All right. I'm trying to have another chapter of the book that I've been writing done by Sunday. So we'll see how that goes. I'm working on that a little bit more tonight. So we'll see. I would love to finish this book before the rapture, but I don't know that I'll have time. So I'll share what I have, though. So, guys, God bless you. Just, man, pray for each other. Go into the comments, post all these names. I don't care if it's 60 people. I want to pray for them. Everyone else wants to pray for them too, okay? God bless you. Please like, share, subscribe, all the things. Ring the bell so you guys know when we're going live. All right. God bless you. We'll see you later. All right.